Leader Network, which is a network that is collective civil society, not governmental, but mostly society actors who are implementing rural policy. So I would like to give the floor to Ivana, who will tell us more about the work she's doing.
Thank you. I would like to kindly thank to European Commission and to Area Science Park for inviting me to present the situation in Serbia regarding agriculture and rural development sector. It is my honor to be the president of a national leader network. I like to say that we are net that works. Usually when it comes to net, it is okay, but we got stuck with part of this work. I have a team of highly motivated people who really work every day to make rural development in Serbia better. We have 26 local action groups which are founded based on the LEADER program, which is active in European Union since 1991. So it is now 25 years of spreading of this principle, and in Serbia we are working since 2006. So now we have 10 years of experience in leading local action groups. For those who are not very familiar with what local action groups are, we can say that we are gathering partners from three sectors: public sector, private sector and civil sector. So, and it is area-based approach, and it is one of the most important tools of European Union to bring democracy to the local level. So it's very interesting thing to have partners from local self-governments in our network, from regional development agencies, institutes, private companies, SMEs, and of course civil society organizations. National Leader Network has three main segments of working. First is oversight and monitoring of agriculture and rural development policies and regional development policies. The second one is networking, both domestically in Serbia and internationally. And the third one is support to concrete individual local action groups. Our support goes from education and their capacity development to, of course, never-ending need for funding and for applying for call for proposals. Today I will try to connect this overview of programming in Serbia in the rural development sector with the topic of innovation, and to present what is the situation regarding programming in Serbia and how do we approach innovation, both with the example of local action group project and one regional project. Well, when it comes to the programming, there are three main documents in Serbia. Of course, above all of those, there is a law on agriculture. Then we have a strategy of agriculture and rural development of the Republic of Serbia, which goes from 2014 to 2024. Then we have a National Rural Development Program 2015-2020, which is still to be adopted by the government. And we have important program, which is a program for instrument for pre-accession for rural development, IPARD program, for the period 2014-2020. When it comes to the implementation of the IPARD program, first I would like to say why this program is so important for our country. Of course, the first and the obvious reason is that this will be the first time that funds will be directly available to producers, to farmers, without any intermediary between them and the Commission. So financial resources is the first important segment of it. the other important segment, and why is it important for Serbia to have this system, this program in function and operative, is because this is the first test of our government. How is it prepared for managing EU funds? So this will show how ready Serbia is to solely, with its own institutions, implement EU funds. What does it actually mean? This is a situation where where European Commission is giving so-called conferral of management to Serbian institutions, and in order for us to receive this, what we call accreditation of IPARD program, there are several steps that need to be made. In last year, 2015, and in this 2016, we had significant progress regarding the setting up the whole system and institutions. The main two focuses are on the human resources. Part of the necessary employees were employed in a paying agency. And for the physical requirements, there was significant progress because the building, which is going to host all the staff, was moved from smaller city to the capital city, Belgrade, and now it is expected that the whole number of employees of 1,020, 200 is possible to sit there and to work and to have their space for the work. In May 2016, Serbia had an audit mission whose main task was to check the system and the institutions and to provide answer if Serbia is ready to manage IPARD funds. This audit report was given officially in August 2016, and it shows further progress which Serbia needs to make in order for this accreditation to begin. Specifically, when we are talking about which kind of progress shall be made, there are several segments. I will not go into very much details, but we have some progress to be made in terms of human resources, staff, stability of staff, their qualification, financial resources for trainings, for equipment of the staff. There, of course, further progress has to be made in terms of transparent functioning of the system. Also, some changes on the law on agriculture in order for it to be harmonized with the sectorial agreement, coordination between various IPARD entities, etc. So we expect that progress to be made further and to have accreditation as soon as possible. Fine. Then back to our strategy of agriculture and the link to innovation. As I said, there is one priority area which is most directly linked to introducing of innovation in Serbian strategy. This is priority area 5, improvement of the knowledge transfer system and human resources development, where our decision makers adopted in this key document that innovation are important for the agriculture, and the priority area 5 could enable this in Serbia. You can see some extracts from the document in the presentation behind. Fine. So related to that, I would like to just briefly present maybe two examples how is innovation approached in agriculture in Serbia. I will start from the other one. It is the project which is Biosense Institute Novi Sad. I also heard today that some of you are familiar with this project, and I'm very glad to hear that. This is a very important project for Serbia, It is called Internet of Farming 2020, financed with 30 million euro from two directorates, from agriculture, of course from EU financing. One directorate is for agriculture and rural development, and the other one is for information society. And the aim is to improve agricultural production by using special computer IT programs. I would like to speak more on example number 1 on the slide. It is a project which is actually implemented by a local action group in Serbia, and this is why it is also very important for our national leader network. Implemented by two local self-governments in both in Vojvodina, Alibunar and Kovin, and NGO Leader Plus Banatski Karlovac. This is also financed by EU, and the name is Fair Oil Serbia. What are we doing here is that we are using this, as I heard, the old and non-existing term circular economy with the social inclusion. Anyway, it does exist, I have to inform you. So it exists still, at least in pre-accession countries. What we are doing here is that we are supporting local Roma CSOs who are partnering with local public utility companies which have buses for transfer of school children, and Roma people are collecting used cooking oil and processing it to the biofuel to be furtherly used in school buses. This is not scientific breakthrough, and we are very well aware of that, but it is innovation in those specific communities. It is innovative way how to do so many things in one project. First, we are educating people how to have affordable technological solutions. This technology for processing received the gold medal in Novi Sad Agriculture Fair. And not only it is innovative technology, it is very affordable. I'm not going to speak about prices now, but this is technology that can be used by literally any poor local community. This is what we need there to provide solutions which are not only green or blue or whatever the new term now is, but also to have it in an affordable and in a cheap way, so that wider communities can use it. The second one, automatically by using it in transport companies who are transporting school children, we are doing in the same time education of children on environment protection, and we are providing jobs to most sensitive social groups who do not have enough education or other qualifications to be involved in maybe some other jobs. If any question regarding this project, I would be glad to respond. I think that I covered all topics. Thank you.
Thank you, Ivana. Very clear presentation. Now, does anybody want to put a question? Oh, Ivana?
Maybe just comment.
Yes, a comment. Please.
If no one has a question, Professor always has some comments.
Okay, Ivana, this is a great example of what we were talking about this week, about social innovation, together with affordable, everyday, sustainable technologies. I love your example. I think it could be very applicable. Things like that should be something that we should look up, except for excellent science, of course. There is excellent science in some parts of our regions, but this is a great example, and I really thank you for it.
Thank you.
Any other comment?
Yeah,
Yes.
Sure.
No, I think you were first.
Yeah, thank you, Ivan. Just a structural question. I mean, you mentioned that you have more than 20 local action groups now in Serbia. Is financed directly by LEADER program?
Thank you for this question. It will be financed through IPARD program. So one of the measures in IPARD program, which is foreseen, is for LEADER measure. Until then, we are working through alternative funds, mainly through EU, for support of civil society, then cross-border cooperation, and the majority of funds come through European Union at the moment. Thank you.
Just a second, very, very short question. I mean, they have the same, more or less the same structure as the local action group in Europe. I mean, as private and public.
They have exactly the same methodology, exactly the same structure, and of course we have more than 6 years of transnational cooperation with EU local action groups and national leader networks from EU, so we are completely working and waiting for the funds. This is the only part which is not the same.
Yeah, thank you, Ivan. The project that you presented was, I mean, it's one of the first projects that I ever seen where the Roma minority is so well integrated, and especially in the agriculture sector, which I think was one of the, for historical reasons, one of the areas where the Roma populations were placed very well. In Bulgaria, after the demographic changes and the collapse of the state-owned farming, many of these communities lost their opportunity to exert the agricultural activities because they were mostly engaged in some areas which were not then supported somehow by the new policy, like the tobacco production. So they have to move from rural areas to the urban areas. I think we need to somehow find their role in agriculture again. Just a short question. You have national schemes for agriculture in Serbia. Do you know how many Roma people, I mean, are applied? Do you have some statistics whether they are active in the agricultural field?
No, not that I'm aware of. I don't think that this kind of statistics is made, but we can, of course, through the Ministry of Labor, and we can maybe initiate some research on that. And thank you for your comment. I would just like to add that what is important for us is also this that you pointed out. Not moving Roma people from rural areas to urban areas where they have most of the opportunities to have some income. This example is tailor-made for them to have a clean job, dignity job, which doesn't make any difference if you are whatever social group you represent. And what is once again important is that qualifications are not the issue here, because a PhD can collect used cooking oil exactly the same as no or low qualification.
There was a question from Marina.
Thank you. Do all the local action groups have their strategies developed, or they will need some adjustment to the leader principles and the leader measure will be adopted?
Since we had official program of delegation of the European Union in 2011 and 2012, that was the situation, that was the moment when 21 of the local action groups created strategies on local development. After that, some other joined, and some, of course, every month we have some new initiatives, and they are working on by methodology foreseen in European Union. We have also translated into English the extracts of the strategies and maybe public. So if anyone is interested, we have some summaries of the local strategies translated into English, so you can see the territory and what are their main focus activities, mostly that.
Now I have a question. Ivana, in Italy we see a raising importance of what is called the third sector, volunteers, and particularly in social innovation, project like yours. Are you leveraging this?
Sure, not what I was impressed once when I heard, I don't know if this is the quite exact figure, but it gives an impression that in France the 30% of the employees are from the third sector. It is a pretty much growing sector in Serbia, and what we have, when I talk about my country, we have progressed from of course, the first civil society organizations were mostly regarding human rights and watchdogs, but more and more we are progressing towards services providing and, of course, using volunteers as a very powerful resource in rural development. For all of those who are familiar with the leader approach, they know very well that volunteers are one of the major resources and the powers, because one local action group can do nothing without volunteers and without very wide support from the community. So mostly when we are speaking about projects which are done by local action groups, you can always find behind the scene, maybe not so visible, but behind the scene there are always some volunteers and in huge numbers working to support the management of and the board of a local action group, because at the end of the day those projects are highly visible in a society, and they are creating solutions which are sometimes so important for this local community, but could not be understood by higher level of a government.
Final question, what about the other countries? Are you connected also with the other Western Balkan countries, leader, representative?
Sure, the cooperation is very strong, and I am very, very proud and very happy to say that we know each other personally. We know each other territories, we know what are the projects, and not only with the Western Balkans, we are all connected through European Leader Association, IPARD, which is connecting. It is an umbrella organization of local action groups from Europe. And I have to say, because I have the opportunity now, that this is this methodology is now has now spilled over, and it's not only in European Union. We now have local action groups in Georgia uprising. We have it in Latin America. So the methodology, and some of them are working in Morocco also. So the approach is obviously viral.
Any other one who wants to add some comments? Or it was a very interesting presentation, very novel presentation. Okay, so thanks a lot. It was a good